Alright, back again. Today we get out the Sega Genesis 3, and I figured we could put in this game here. Taz-Mania. So, let's pop that in, play some of that. Now, if you remember, Atarix777 actually sent me this game here. It was a game that I hadn't played when I was younger, and a game that I was kind of curious about. So I watched his review of it, and he said, "Yeah, Luke, I'm going to send you a copy. You tell me what your views are on the game." And so today I'm going to try and give that a shot. But when you first start it up here, you'll come to your Start Game and your Options menus. When you go into Options, you can change your settings here for your buttons. A is your action button, so if you eat something that you can use as a weapon, by pressing A, it'll use that as a weapon. B will spin and C will jump. Also, your settings here for the game difficulty, you have easy, hard, and practice, which kind of makes easy like a normal or middle or something like that. Intermediate, I guess. What's nice about this game, at least for today, is I usually put up a lot of games that have Japanese text, but for most of my viewers, you'll be able to actually read this one. And since the intro here is a little bit long, what we'll do is we'll just skip out of it, go right into the game. Here's our world map. And as you saw in the first part here, with the button configurations, by pressing B, you'll spin. If you press left and right while holding B, you'll fly across the screen, which is really nice if you want to make up a lot of ground in a short amount of time. And then by pressing C, do your jump, and each time you jump, there's a different sound when you hit the ground. And if you press A when you don't have any sort of special weapon or special feature, he'll do this. Which is kind of cool, but it would be kind of a little bit cooler if you would have said something, you know, like something like that, you know. But if you leave him sit here for a couple seconds, he goes spastic on you. So it wouldn't have taken that much more to do that. I mean, here, first part here, he's eating the tamales, and, well, you know what that means. That means that he's going to be breathing some fire. And these guys in the game probably are the most annoying. Just the music. So what do? You barbecue them. The hardest part of this game is the jumps, by far. Sometimes trying to hit a jump correctly, or trying to do the right jump. Thinking that the foreground and the background are somewhat separated, when in some cases they look like they're the same. It's really hard. So you gotta really watch it, you gotta time your jumps, and in some situations you really gotta watch whether you jump or whether you walk over something, because sometimes these jumps can over jump, and it can really mess you up. What's nice about the jump, though, is you can do a jump, and after you press jump, you can spin. Now, if you press up, spin, and over, you can kind of clear some longer or some bigger spaces, which is pretty helpful in some areas. Now, this part here, like I said, if you don't time your jumps right, you'll wind up getting hit, even by those water spouts, or like those sprays of water coming out of the ground. If you hit the side of them, you'll wind up getting hurt. So it's kind of irritating sometimes, but... Come on. See ya. Jumping over here. And these are your little halfway markers. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, especially in this part here. If you don't time your jumps right in this section here, you will fall to your death and die, and that'll be game over, because there's nothing but spikes below, as you could have probably seen right there. And as you can see, even by some of these jumps here, if you jump it, you know, a little bit too far, you end up dying. So the jumps really are difficult. And bouncing around, which can be quite frustrating. But we got through our first stage. That's the only complaint that I basically have about the game. It's just the jumps. Trying to find the platforms that you got to jump on and just timing the jumps right. It's a bit frustrating. This stage is a really difficult stage in the fact that it's really hard to see what's part of the foreground, background, and where to land. If you make a mistake, then you'll wind up falling back down and you'll have to do it from the beginning again, and that's the frustrating part about it. But if you do it right, you can actually get it usually the first, second try, so this guy up here can be quite frustrating. And if you just stand over here and expect him to walk back, he won't, which can be a little bit irritating. But so this part here, the jumps are still okay, but this is where it gets difficult. Like right there, that's kind of a blind jump. And so is this one. Now this part here is where your spin jump will actually help you a lot. Well, not in that case. I didn't time it quite right. If you spin around during around those bombs, you can actually avoid getting blown up, but I didn't quite time it right. Free Taz! What up? Alright. Now this is the part that becomes a little bit tricky. So when you fall, you want to make sure that you're spinning when you fall, or at least try to avoid these bombs here, because each one that you pick up does some serious damage. Ah, like that. As you can see, he's almost dead. Life! And these red bottles here, these are your life. I didn't mention that, but... But overall, it's not too bad of a game. If you can find the game for a reasonable price, I'd recommend picking it up. And if you have the time and the patience with the game, it's not a bad game graphically, and for the most part, gameplay-wise, it's not too bad. But if you don't have the patience, definitely, this probably wouldn't be the game for you. It's... Ah! We have our first boss here. As I'm getting smoked at. Ah! There we go. We're starting to get a little bit low on time here. Just wanted to show you what Taz-Mania looked like for the Genesis. And yeah, like I said, if you do have a lot of patience and you feel like, you know, you want to give it a shot, I would totally recommend picking it up, especially if you can find it for a low price, because graphically it is pretty impressive. It's not a bad game by any means, but it's just the most difficult parts are the jumps. But that's all for me for right now, and like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.